welcome to McMoTV,
where talk is therapy.
I'm C-Mac.
And I'm K-Mo.
If this is your first time here, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Welcome to the McMo family.
So today's topic, we're going to discuss, can you be friends with someone who's dating your ex or who may be married to your ex?
Yeah, like,
can you?
Can this happen? Can this really happen?
And it goes smoothly?
And it be okay? And you not be real salty about it and you're back in the back of your mind, like, I say this okay, but it's not okay.
Because I think in this situation, both people need to know their boundaries. Because I don't think the person who is with the ex, I don't think that they should ask questions pertaining to the relationship that you had with the ex or maybe things you experienced with the ex. I think that's kind of off limits. So if you have a friendship that's type, like surface level friendship, we talk about me and you and he's never mentioned.
Yeah.
I think maybe that works.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I personally think it has everything to do with how long I've dated the ex. Like, I mean, for me, if I've dated the ex for maybe a year or less than that, okay, yeah. I mean, maybe you can talk to my ex. But if it's more than a year, we talking 2-3 years, skirt. Like, no, that's not okay. That's not gonna happen. I'm never gonna be okay with that. It's just, I'm gonna feel some type of way. Like, I'm like, were you always into my guy this whole time that I was dating him? Or if it's a new person, then it's like, what am I supposed to think? Like, I'm not really sure. So I think if he is newer, like we just never really established something deep.
Right, it was more of a friendship relationship.
Right, yeah, then maybe. But I know that sometimes in a year, you can know and learn so much about someone. Like, you guys will have like a real intense relationship really early. So I think it just kind of depends on how I feel about the relationship. Like, once it's through, right? If I'm like, whatever, it's just kind of like we cut ties. Him and I barely talk.
Yeah.
We're not friends anymore, or you know what I mean? Like, it's something like that. Or if it's a case where you guys were just not compatible, if
like amicably, like mutually, you realize that
absolutely.
It just
If it's a compatibility
definitely.
thing, like I'm like, he's a great guy. You guys will be perfect together. We, didn't work out for X, Y, and Z, but you guys might be it. Like, it just wasn't, you got to be able to recognize that this is not for you.
And I think, honestly, that's where I stand. It has less to do with the time that I've been with you and more to do with why we broke up, I guess, since you put it that way, to where I could be with you for 10 years. But if we had our moment, had our time, went through our situation, and we get to the end and we realize, we had a good run, but we don't have a future together because we're going in two separate paths. In that aspect, I could do that as well. Actually, I am in that type of a situation now where my boy's father, he remarried, and me and him didn't really get along. After our split, didn't really talk. But then I met his new wife, and I feel like she was the one for him all along. Really? Even though, no joke, even though I was with him for 10 years and we have 2 beautiful boys together, I feel like this was his one, and I was just a seasonal relationship. Even though it was a 10-year relationship, we had our moment with each other. We learned what we had to learn, and we both, split due to us understanding that we were on 2 different paths. So yeah, I met her, and she's a really nice person, and we get along. I wouldn't call us like friends, but we definitely have conversations back and forth. We discuss the kids.
Yeah, that's good.
So
that's good, especially since, like, if you, like you said, you and the father don't really get along well. So it's good to have somebody that you actually know surround your boys, and they'll be able to kind of be like a good figure of what
a stepmom,
like a stepmom should be.
I believe in stepmoms. No, I do. I'm a big supporter of stepmom, stepdads culture. I understand.
Yeah, that makes
sense.
Takes a village. I had a thought. You said something that made me think. I've actually been approached by someone asking me like, "Hey, I'm interested in so and so," and they kind of basically asked for my permission, and it caught me off guard in a way, like because the person that they were asking about, we never really established a real relationship. It was just kind of like everyone knows that there was something between us, right?
Right.
But I was just like, no, like go right ahead, yeah, girl.
Did that throw her off?
It threw me off, but then I know that my immediate reaction would be that, because I really I don't see, it's not like in my current stance, my current point in life, would I be with this person?
Mm-hmm.
No, like it's just like, what am I saving this good man for?
Right.
Like, no, that's all you, if that's what you want to do, go ahead and have at it, because I have no intentions of being with this person, and I'm completely okay with that.
That makes sense. And that just made me think, like, I think something that you said earlier about if something is brand new or if the relationship is new, I think from that aspect, if I'm with somebody for like 2 or 3 months and we split and then he ends up with someone I know, or, that's a good point to where I would say, were you always looking at him? Were you always after him?
Yeah, that's
Were you always over my shoulder? Especially if he ends up with
weird.
someone who I invited to my house while we were still together as a couple. I think that matters too. It's easier for me to accept someone who is new on the outside as a friend.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Than someone who was already in my inner circle.
Oh, 100%. I would definitely have like some type of feeling about that, right. And not necessarily the situation that you with this man, but more so just you in my circle. Period. Like I'm not gonna be able to trust that I can really be around you all the time and really share my life and my experiences with you, because at the end of the day, I'm like,
did you use some of the conversations that I talked to you about to get my man?
Exactly.
Or to make him happy now? Because you've learned from my mistakes? Wait a minute, hold on.
Like, you 100%, you question every single thing. You're like, okay, you were there when we met. You were there when I invited him over for the first time. You were there when we had a gathering. So it just makes you question, at what point in time did you decide in your brain that, this is a nice man. See, like this.
And did anything go on prior to us breaking up? Because if we were having issues to the point where we knew we weren't compatible, were y'all whispering about compatibility?
Right, it definitely makes you question every single thing.
So yeah, that would be a little hard one. I could accept someone coming from outside, but I don't think I can accept someone in my inner circle.
100%. Nope.
What happens if it ends up being your sister?
Oh, I jokingly have conversations with my sister about, like, back in the day, it was Chris Brown for me. Like, I was a Chris Brown fan. Like, he was my husband. But she was like, yeah, if Chris Brown came up to me and he wanted me, I was mad at her for like a week. So that is no question, that would be out of the picture. Like, you cannot do that.
Chris Brown, comment below.
So I take things like that very seriously. Like, there's so many other guys in the world. Like, why do you need to be this close to home?
Yeah. I don't think I could share with I don't think anyone that I have had intimate relationship with, I could feel comfortable with a family member dating. Even if it's a cousin, a sister, an auntie these days,
Yeah, it's kind of like with the show Insecure with Issa and Condola right now, how Condola's dating Lawrence, and I'm like, she's working with Condola right now, and it's going well, I guess, but I feel like I can see that going real sideways, because Issa and Lawrence have been together for so long,
right, that
Condola coming in the picture and being friends with Issa could just be awkward. I'm just like, if you can avoid the situation and not make it too dramatic and just like your life overcomplicated, then do it, because all that's going to do is just make your life complicated. If it's a situation where this is my soulmate, I have to be with this man, then I guess then maybe, okay, well, I'm just going to have to deal with that, right?
Yeah, I think in situations like that, we really do have to pick and choose where our safe space is for our mental health.
Yeah,
because
100%.
it's important that we don't self-sacrifice our mental health for the relationships that we feel we're obligated to keep together. And
yeah, no, sure.
That's something that, I think a lot of us women do. We feel like, oh, I'm obligated to keep this friendship or this relationship or this situation. I'm obligated to keep it together or kind of be the cool person, the laid back. I don't want to seem like the drama queen. When in actuality, you have justification to feel the feelings that you're feeling. Uncomfortable, maybe a little insecure, especially if you knew the girl and you feel like they're sharing information about you, or they know intimate information about you because you were friends with both of them or with one and friends with the other. So, your feelings are justified. Don't put yourself in a position to self-sacrifice and to be depressed.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with you on that, because I think that's what we oftentimes do that as individuals. We're like, okay, well, if that makes you happy, then then go ahead. But just go ahead and say how you feel.
Exactly.
And then if they decide to respect that, then that's it, right? They'll just respect it, and you guys can keep it moving from that perspective. But if it's a case where you feel some type of way about that, and you just live your life, feeling some type of way about that, you see them every day, they don't know how you feel, they're thinking that you're comfortable with what they have going on, and all of a sudden it's like
you find yourself in a funk.
Yeah.
Like in a really awkward space where you feel kind of trapped because you put yourself out there to accept it when you really didn't want to accept it. And now you're, like I said, you feel obligated to keep that relationship going and to make everyone else happy.
Yeah. My stance is, if you can avoid it, avoid it. Because if I can avoid it, I would never. I'm the type of, I would never date one of my friends' ex.
Right.
Because that would make me feel uncomfortable, and I honestly don't even like hanging out with my guy friends without them being around. Like
I feel the same
just
way.
that type of loyal. Like I have that type of loyalty, and if I am gonna hang out, if it's just all good and we're always hanging out anyway, I'm like, oh, so and so called me, let's go out. I'm gonna let you know. I'm gonna like, hey, we're going out tonight. Make sure you come or whatever. Like, let you know just so that it's not some like
real
weird
woman stuff.
Yeah,
like real woman stuff. And I think that's something that if us women would infect the real woman mentality into other women, to let other women know that sisterhood is still alive and real.
100%. I
feel like a lot of these situations
can be avoided.
100%. I feel like society pits us against each other a lot when it comes to competing.
Yeah.
Men can sometimes get us to kind of
it's like not even a competition.
When we honestly really need to be locking arms.
Yeah.
And be like, for real, like sisters first in some situations to where
bros before, no. But you get the picture.
Right. So tell us what you think. Like, what is your standpoint? How do you feel about the situation?
Yeah, can your friends date your exes? Can your family date your exes? We'd love to know.
Yeah, definitely. Comment below. Don't forget to like,
comment, and subscribe. Bye, guys.